My name's Randy. Nice to meet you all. One of the biggest projects I'm proud of, I released an album beginning of the year in January. It was pretty crazy because I had been working on it for like 3 to 4 years, so a lot of hard work and time put into it. And the subject on the album was about my father who passed away. You know, it was very touchy, very sentimental. You know, just a lot of like life experiences I put into that project. And I was, pretty nervous about putting it out there for people to listen to, and I didn't really know how it would go or how people would react to it. But it felt really good to be vulnerable and put it out there for other people to relate to. And, I'm just really proud of putting it out there.
I've been out of focus, feeling the pain. My life's looking hopeless. I lost my way and I didn't notice. I have been tainted, can't get emotion. Still I be praying for a better day. There's just some things that I cannot say. Dark places in my mind where I stay. A lot of hard choices, but I gained some faith. Now I be doing better for myself and my family. I need some wealth and some clarity. Working on my health to achieve a better me. Ignoring the negative things they've been telling me. All of these bad habits I've been severing. Stuck with me ever since I was 17. Ever since I was 17. Been out my mind, I've been out of focus. Yeah, I need some change deep down and I know it. Yeah, pick it up because I gotta keep it going. Yeah, it's now or never, right now in this moment. Right now in this moment.
Okay, let's go!
Hey guys, my name is Viddy. I'm a designer by trade. So I work here for the county. I just moved from Florida, and one of the most recent projects we just did was to showcase the sports that Utah has to offer. So really creative campaigns, something I never really thought of doing before. So we got these kind of renowned like youth athletes and local Olympians to go shoot in unique local locations like the Saltaire, the mountains, the Red Butte location, that sort of thing. So it was just a really cool project for me because I've never been one to creatively concept anything other than a brand or an advertising campaign. But this was an entire film, something that just made me really happy because it's a group of people kind of getting together to accomplish one mission. And it was just kind of surreal to me seeing an idea that I concepted in my room at 2 a.m. kind of come to life and have this really high-end budget behind it and have so many people kind of be a part of it that it was a different kind of feeling to me.
I do acting and content creation, and that's kind of been my bread and butter. Do a lot of commercials and stuff. And but I mean, the stupidest idea, it's been so crazy. I'll like come up with a stupid idea. I'll put it on TikTok and YouTube or whatever, and I'm like, it's not gonna go anywhere. Oh my goodness, it's like not like millions or anything like that. Like my channels don't have like a ton, but I just think as an advertising major and whatnot, I'm like, dude, the fact that just some simple little video that I had in my head and I was like, fine, I'll just put it out there. And for whatever reason, it's like totally like blown up on an account that like has no following basically. Yeah. And I just think like if you don't take action, your idea basically just either fizzles out or somebody else captures that. And so acting quickly and like efficiently is so advantageous to us creators. I think like we waste time in not taking action. And even on ideas that you think are like super lame or dumb or silly or whatever. And some of these videos were like 10 seconds. And I was just like, they just kind of blew up with comments, they blew up with whatever. And I was just like blown away that I'm like, I'm glad that I put that out there because you just don't know. And we're like such a cool day and age too, where like, again, dumb ideas like aren't necessarily dumb. Like other people like find them funny, and like some of the funniest videos are like actually some of the dumbest. But it's like they can just take off, and unless you take action, you just don't know where it's gonna go.
I've seen this to be so true with my music. Like it's like we have our own like personal biases that make us like judge our work more than anybody else does. But honestly, nobody has a crystal ball that can see the future, not even yourself. I've made songs that I hate that my friends will say is their favorite music I've made. Yeah. And so it's like, I think for me, like I try not to judge what I create while I'm creating it, but then the battle comes with putting it out. Like once it's made, then I'm like, I just sit on it and I don't put it out. But like now I'm trying to push myself to just like, dude, if you put the time and the work into this, you put the passion into it, like it's not complete dog water, just put it out, So it's a balance, like, because you want to have a standard as a creator, Like, I want people to trust that when I drop something, it's gonna be fire. But also at the same time, I need to post more than once a month.
Hi, new faces and old faces. My name's Melissa. My medium is tattooing. I've been doing it for about 2.5 years, and something that I've changed my mind upon recently was actually something that I read in a book recently that I finished, and it's called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. And I love that book because in the very front page it says, none of these things are true. None of these things are proven science or anything like that. They're merely steps that I've noticed from people around me and of myself when it comes to your creative path and what it means to like fully take that step and like really ingrain yourself. And the key thing that I learned was to always remember that you are in service of art. And it's not about what art can do for you. A lot of us in this room right now are probably in a stage where like we're able to make art our career, and so we do focus on that. We were trying to think like, okay, what design is like for me? Like I'm trying to see like what designs are trendy, what people are into, what the vibe is like, trying to test out the waters. But it's not about me. It's about everyone else's interpretation of art for themselves. Art's gonna be there. I've also learned like a while ago that like nothing is new under the sun. It is all a remix of a remix of a remix, and no one has the interpretation of life quite like you. So it is so important for you to be of service of art and putting yourself into it. And yeah, like I've had so many times where I've gotten myself stuck in projects and not knowing what to take, or even like being scared about things I want to implement, like, oh, what if that doesn't work? I have one shot at this and I have to start all the way over. That doesn't matter. You know, I can take a break from it when I need to, when that feels right, but when the project is done, it needs to be released like a bird. Like it just needs to kind of find its way and find its people that are gonna take its effect. So it's always being in service of art.
I'm Eric Felstead, and just want to play off of what I missed your name. Ben said. Two things. One, I've been an entrepreneur for many years, and I had this theory a long time ago that God plants ideas all around, and whoever acts first gets it. Because my brothers and I had a software company, and this idea came up, and we started dabbling with the idea, and we just never took it anywhere. And this guy made $70 million doing that idea. A couple years later, I was like, seriously? So anyway, I agree with that. The second thing is about acting is kind of interesting, because I believe that if you act, you have to take action. A lot of times you have ideas, you have fears, but when you take action, God will act. He'll help you. And let me give you an example. This morning at 9 something, Kensington gave me an idea to talk about this film I'm creating. He said, and I just launched a YouTube channel this week. Anyway, I know, it's crazy. And he said, record some shorts on the miracles that happened, why you got started and why it motivated you. Right before I came here, Kensington, there's 2 shorts I just put up on those miracles. So I didn't waste time. It was the end of the day. I changed into my t-shirt and I said, let's go, let's do some stuff. So anyway, good comments. Glad to be here.
So I just noticed something about what everyone's been saying. I feel like humans just have this innate need to connect. Right? And that feeling when you can connect with someone on whatever level it is, like a 10-second funny video that you thought wouldn't blow up, or whether it's like on the most intimate level of like marriage or whatever it might be, right? Like we all just yearn to connect with each other all the time, and it's so sick that we never know what it's gonna be. So it's just like piggyback on what everyone said, like if you have a project, drop it. It might suck. Like Mike, you were like, dude, you wanna have like a certain level, you really do, but that's also like ego holding you back. Right? You never know what's gonna hit someone. So just like take the chance, drop it. You never know what's gonna hit, ever. It's awesome.
The next question I want to hear from you guys is, what is the hardest part about being a creator right now, and how do you combat it?
I think one of the hardest parts about being a creator, for me especially, is consistency. Not a problem for Ben. Ben's very consistent. He posts like 4 videos every 2 hours. But one thing difficult about consistency, especially something that, like Mike said, was I guess he struggles to push them out and do it anyways, and he only releases like 1 a month or whatever. But the thing that differentiates creators in any medium or any platform or whatever, I do social media and I do business. is consistency. Because sometimes you want to wake up and roll over and go back to sleep. Sometimes sometimes you're afraid of what other people will think or anything like that. Or even you're not just motivated, but the important thing is that you like actually, get up and make videos. And I actually made a video about not wanting to make videos like a few weeks ago because I just didn't want to make a video that day, so I made one.
There we go.
Oh boy, it's a lot more nerve-wracking when the camera's like pointed directly in your eyeballs. Yeah, I make sure you get my nose hairs in there. So something I was thinking about this last week, I did a shoot for doTERRA, and like think of MLMs or like pyramid schemes as you may, they pay well. But one of the things I was recording one of their events like the whole day, and like one of the things that I actually somehow heard in the mess of just like them talk about oils and stuff was work will only come to you when you're ready for it. And so one of the things I think as creators we struggle for is feeling like we're ready to take on a project that's beyond something we've ever done before. Like if a company that's bigger than like any other company I've worked for, like even remotely gives me attention, I'd be freaking out, right? And there's always that question of like, do I have the gear? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the capability even to do what they're asking? And so that kind of thought of when you are ready for the work will come. I've kind of been trying to mentally apply that to my days of like, I'm waking up in the sense of like with the feeling of like, okay, I'm ready. If somebody reaches out, or I'm going to reach out to whoever, and I'm just going to be like, they're like, oh, can you do this? The answer is yes. Right? Like if I can't, I know plenty of people in a really great group that might have some knowledge, but also like I can figure it out. Like I'm confident in my ability to create an experience, because that's ultimately like the thing that differentiates like who you are as a creative is the experience behind what someone watching or like engaging with your content feels, but also the people behind being a part of that, right? Whether it's music or if it's video.
Well, I want to go off that.
Okay. Introduce yourself as well.
Oh, I'm Ghettos. You can call me Kai, though. But I like what you said about having fun and the anxiety going away when you make your art. Oh, whoops. But just recently, I've kind of gone that same path. I grew up making music. I started 5 years ago, and I started more along the lines of like sad pop, hip hop genre. Just recently, I've been starting to make EDM music and house music, and I'd never made that before. And I work weddings on the side, and I DJ them, and at the end of these weddings, I'll play that music, and there'll be a bunch of people just like chilling, and then they'll start dancing to it, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting people to dance to some music that I never made before. And it's been a lot of fun doing that. And it's honestly bringing a different side to me that I'm discovering now, making this different genre of music, and it's been a lot more fun, taking the anxiety out of it.
I'm 57, and I'm kind of serial entrepreneur, started out. But if you go back to my early days, I wrote music, I loved it, I would sing in barbershop quartets, and this creative thing is such a beautiful thing, and I think we're all creators. I think we're designed that way. It's a beautiful thing that we can do. So I went into business because I didn't want to be poor. That was my big motivation. I grew up in a family, like we never had food. So I was like, I want to make sure I have money. And so I had a great career, raised my family, a business guy, and then I read this book that my brother-in-law recommended last fall. And it's a book about a couple who escaped from North Korea. And I'm sitting in my living room reading, and I'm looking around at my life and my beautiful freedoms, beautiful foods, and great wife, great family. And I'm thinking, in North Korea, are they really that oppressed? I mean, is this real that they can't speak their mind, or they can get executed or thrown in hard labor camps? So I just was blown away, and I'm saying this story is so beautiful. It's a story of a couple who escaped, and it's such a treacherous, amazing story. And I'm like, this has to be a film. And I had this idea, I'm gonna produce a film. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a filmmaker. Like, how am I gonna produce a film? But I just felt this passion that this needed to happen. And I started to realize that it wasn't just about creating a film. This is about 26 million people that live in oppression like you have no idea. They don't know who God is. They don't know, they live in fear all the time. You know, they can't own anything. They don't even get to pick the food because the government gives them food unless you illegal trade or, things like that. It's crazy. And so I thought, if I were them, if I were sitting in North Korea, would I want somebody who has the resources, the effort, the time, the ability to do something for me? And I thought, heck yeah, let's do something. So the idea of a film, I'm like, well, what's a film gonna do? There's lots of films, there's documentaries, I don't know, but film has a way to produce an emotional impact on people that's unique. And I love films and I love movies. So I thought, if we do a film and we do it right and we make it worldwide, the whole world maybe will look at what's going on in North Korea. And maybe it'll just create a crack. Because you know what? That whole regime is a criminal organization that's propped up by criminality. It's not propped up like GDP and good economic growth. It's because they steal, they sell drugs, they sell missiles, they give he sells his people to go to wars. Anyway, and I'm thinking, we got to produce this film. So this is a new project for me. I'm going from business guy to let's do a film and let's try to help some people across the world. So thank you for hearing me out. I'm really excited about it. A Necessary Lie. It's a true story. There's extra battery. And you should read it. You can go to don'tfilms.org and you can learn a little bit more about it. But the book is mind-blowing. Like, it's a story. In fact, when I first read this story, I thought to myself, man, this parallels Les Mis. And I lived in France and I love great stories. And I started doing a parallel of all the things that were in Les Mis and all the characters. And I'm like, wow. And so I started to deep dive and I started thinking, this regime reminds me of something else. And it dawned upon me, Pan Am. Have you ever seen the Hunger Games? Pan Am is North Korea. I mean, literally, it's like, wow. So this story will bring out some really cool things. And that's why I believe, in fact, my screenwriter, who is from LA, and he got referred to me by the head writer of The Chosen. He's doing the screenwriting. He's like, this is a Spielberg type story. This is massive. And I'm like, I know. I don't know how to build a film, but I'm going to surround myself with a bunch of people who can. Like Kensington, he's helping me out, and Mike's a supporter. So anyway, great book, Necessary Lie. I highly recommend it. And I hope if you want to follow the story about making the film, I'm starting a YouTube channel to do that and starting a newsletter and all that fun stuff. So,
okay, are we ready for another question? Okay, I want to hear what drives you guys to create and why you create things in general. Like, what is the bigger reason behind likes and followers, and like, why is it so important that you record music or that you make your YouTube videos or whatever you do?
I create because I can't help it. I can't stop. And when I did, I went crazy for like 3 years. It was so bad. I was convincing myself, and I mean, like, I'm still of that personality type where I wanted to go into healthcare. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a paramedic. First off, I did my EMT when I was a senior in high school, and I did phlebotomy, and that's very much, I just wanted to help people. But I think in that, working at the state hospital, the pandemic, I figured out how I wanted to help people, and it wasn't necessarily making sure that their health was at optimum. It was to get to their story and to help them explain themselves, or like just other people's world, like experiences with the world, helped me remember just how beautiful we can all help to make it. I felt a responsibility to bring color back into my life even when I didn't see it. Trying to create when you're in a super depressive state, riddled with anxiety, it got hard. And I remember even making some art pieces that was purely that. And I actually, like, one of them I won't even look at just because it freaks me out. Like, it was just kind of like a scribble pen drawing of a girl with her hands right next to her head, spirals in her eyes, and like a tape bandaged around her mouth. And it was just so chaotic, and when I did it, I cried. Like, I couldn't not get that out there, and it's not for anybody else to see, but I know it's there, and I helped take that part of me out as well. Shadow work is a huge, important piece when it comes to creating your art, because you can't make everything like happy. It's not about making the happiest, most lovey-dovey piece of art. It's about expressing it without words. Like, it's crazy how people can just talk to each other without a single word spoken. Body language was one thing, and then mood, light, setting, environment is a whole nother thing. People are observant creatures. We're trying to find connections and things that we weren't able to make before, and just so creating, trying to find those connections, and to me it's on a piece of paper, a canvas, and whatever I have in my hand.
I kind of touch back on like the spirituality of the creative process is that for me, I was raised Catholic, converted to Mormonism, and then quit going to church for quite a few years. I want to say about like 8 or 9. And I mean, I'll be honest, like with the whole like Charlie Kirk event that happened, that it rattled my spirit really hard. I mean, this is where he works. He teaches at UVU as a professor, and like I remember hearing him like, oh yeah, like I was thinking, I heard Charlie Kirk's coming, and I was gonna go check that out, and the disbelief was clinging on to me for about like a week and a half, and it brought us back to church. We went to a non-denominational that Sunday. Like, we need something to fill this right here in my heart, because I just know nothing else like I'm gonna try to do myself is gonna work. And it just reminded me that me as a human, I can't do this by myself all the way. As much as I want to rely on myself and the things that I want to learn, and like, I got this. I only got it to like for so far, and I found myself like needing God again for that, and it reignited a really strong fire back into me that I forgot was there to begin with.
All right, I'm doing the uncomfortable thing. This must be good. Yo, thank you, you guys. I am totally leaving here enriched. I took some notes of the things that you guys said, and I'm gonna cherish this week as I consider the actions I'm gonna take. So thank you for speaking up. Thank you for being you. This week I've been pondering a lot about the opportunity to care. That's such a great thing to offer this world, isn't it not? What you care about is worth caring. It's worth caring to you, and certainly, and if you're not certain about it, I hope you're willing to surprise yourself to see how many more people are willing to care. Because this experience is worth caring about. Don't let the money, don't let the politics blind you. You feel that magic. You feel it every time you create, right? I had some thoughts all put together, but I came across this quote from Charlie Chaplin. If you're not familiar, he's an actor. He says, "You need power only when you want to do something harmful. Otherwise, love is enough to get everything done." So I suppose if there's anything I have to say is, love what you do. Let it fill your cup and let it overflow into those that need their cups filled. And you guys have done that for me tonight, so thank you.
One of the things that I've found throughout my career as a creative is that a camera is a key. Some of the most incredible places I've been in my life that I never thought I would have access to. I'm talking yachts, I'm talking mansions, I'm talking supercars, I'm talking about stuff I can't talk about. And all of that was possible because I developed a skill that made me dangerous. It made me lethal, and it made people want to bring me to these places. And it happened once. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. And it happened another time. Okay, maybe I am supposed to be here. And then another time, and then another time. And I gotta be careful to not make that your new normal, because then it kind of loses how it's special, you know? So one of the things I love about creating is that it can take you to places that you never thought you would ever go. That's one of the first things I told Kyler over there. He started creating, I started seeing some of his posts, and he's like, oh man, I got shooting some Corvettes today. And I go, that key's working, huh? As soon as he started filming, he started getting taken to cool places with cool people doing cool things. It's kind of just that simple. The camera opens you up to really cool and special opportunities. And the other reason why I create, and specifically why I create in 360 in VR, is because I can teleport you places. That's crazy. That's straight up magic. I don't know if y'all know that. I can teleport you somewhere and you basically feel like you're there. That is sense of presence, and that is the ability to step into someone else's world in the truest representation of the sense that we have yet. Creation is all about changing perspectives.
Honestly, I second that about the camera being a key, but I've always thought of it in terms of my camera is my ticket into rooms that I would never have been invited into before. And just by having my camera has gotten me into many rooms and meeting many people. So thanks for sharing, Dakota.
Guys, I'm inspired. So my name's Mitch. I own a video production company called Film Lab with this guy Mike over here. He's the best looking guy in the world, so you've probably seen him before. I think what I love about film is it's something that in creativity, it requires collaboration. To be at like the greatest level, like at least for me, I know I have to work with other people. I've been able to collaborate with some people in this room. Ben, we've been on multiple sets together. I've been able to work with Jacob on stuff, Chandler, right? And that's such a beautiful thing that I've been able to create art with different individuals in this room, and it's helped me step outside of myself. And that is my favorite thing, is bringing people together. And so when we come together and we're united in a common purpose of trying to share a story or even sell a product, whatever it may be, we're now gonna be able to impact people with what we create. And I think that's the most beautiful thing, is coming together and creating something that hopefully edifies and benefits other people.
My name's Randy, nice to meet you all. I'm an artist, I make music. One of the biggest projects I'm proud of, I released an album beginning of the year in January. Thank you. And it was pretty crazy because I had been working on it for like 3 to 4 years, so a lot of hard work and time put into it. And the subject on the album was about my father, who passed away. And so, it was very touchy, very, sentimental, and, just a lot of like life experiences I put into that project. And I was, pretty nervous about putting it out there for people to listen to, and I didn't really know how it would go, or how people would react to it. But it felt really good to be vulnerable and put it out there for other people to relate to, and I'm just really proud of putting it out there. So.
I want to ask you a follow-up question.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to hear a little bit about this album. Like, how long did it take you to create it from start to finish, and maybe like what is a song that if you wanted everyone in here to listen to go stream it, which one of the songs would you recommend?
Oh yeah, definitely like the time it took, the duration, definitely I would say like 5 years of just like, really putting my head down. And the song I would want everyone to listen to is called Thank You, Father. So it's the same title of the album, and it's just really about me expressing my gratitude for my father and how good of a dad he was. So. Yeah, and how important good fathers are. So,
what's something that you learned from your dad that changed who you are?
Really to help people when they're in need, whether it's if they need You know, a jacket. Somebody's cold, they need a jacket, or being there for somebody in a time of need. Really just being human and helping somebody out when they need help. So that's one of the biggest things that, you know, whenever my father saw somebody in need of help, he never hesitated to be there for them. So I feel like that's something I definitely carried and you know, put focus on that project. So.
Damn. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the artist name?
What's the artist
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Spotify.
Randy Aguilar, just my name. So. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm on all Let's go.
The album is fire. I met him at work, dude. And I was like, they were like, yo, this dude raps. This dude raps a little bit. I listened to his album and I like stopped working for 30 minutes. He said, thank you, Father. Bro, he has a song called Sacrifices. Oh my gosh, dude. It's crazy.
My name's Kyler. Nice to meet you guys. What inspires me to create is, honestly, I've been around a lot of people that don't create. I've been around a lot of people that say they want to do something and they have dreams, they have goals, they have ambitions, but they never follow through. And so it's always the what ifs. And I've had a few near-death experiences from a young age to now. And so for me, I like to look back on life and say, hey, look at what I did instead of what if. I don't want to die going, but what if I just did this? What if I just tried? What if I just, I don't want to, I can look back and say, like, that was a flop, that was terrible, this was fun, this was great, you know? And along this journey, I myself, I'm an independent artist. And it's funny because after I got out of the military, I started telling people, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do music. And everybody just looked at me and they're like, are you kidding me? And I was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna rap. And everybody's like, dude, you're white. Are you kidding me? And that was 5 years ago. And now I've opened up for some of the biggest artists in the music industry. I've got to travel, and it's also because of this thing right here. Back during the Super Bowl, I went out and bought a Sony a7 III, and I was like, I'm gonna do something with it. I don't know what. And like Dakota said, I saw it was a Ferrari on the highway, and I just showed him my camera, and I was like, hey, let me film, and it opened up a door. But that's how it all started for me. Was I just had a camera, and people saw me, and people really liked me, and I was like, yeah, I do music, I do this, I do barbering, and I help the homeless, and I want to film this content and share what I do with the world because I want to be creative. So how can I inspire everybody else to be creative as well? I know what it's like to be at the lowest of lows and have nobody around me and have to put on the fake mask, the fake front, and like, oh, I'm happy, I'm great, when life is terrible. I'm just now coming out of like a deep spiral of like depression, you know? And it feels great to come out of that and the procrastination of, oh, I'm going to do this, but it's the me versus me. So I've been fighting with my higher power because God's telling me to jump, and I'm like, I can't. And he's like, I'm telling you to jump. You're not trusting me. And so now this is where I'm spiraling back around and like coming back with my faith and trusting it, because I'm like, you know what? I'm here in this room. I'm not just here for a reason. We've all done something. And the fact that I had a thought, I had a vision, and I believed in myself, and I put forth the effort, and I made something out of nothing. Like there was nothing, it was just an idea. But I was able to create an outcome. I think it's something so beautiful, because it's like, it's life, man. Like, tomorrow's never promised. Like, you guys understand that? And it's like, once you can really grasp that and understand, like, hey, I was able to come up with this idea, and I envisioned it, and I made this come to life. And it's like a part, like, whether it's music, whether it's a video, whether it's a tattoo, like, it's us being creative and be able to express ourselves, and all of us be able to come together and be like, hey, this is me. Who are you? It's not about what you do. I don't care about what you do. What brings your soul to life? What sparks you? What brings you to say, hey, this is who I am? Not what you do. I don't care what you do. What brings you to life? And that's why I can't tell you what I do. I do everything and nothing. It's I'm either doing it all or I'm not doing jack shit, you know? But I do all this honestly for my son, because as crazy as it sounds, I don't have a support system behind me where everybody's like, you got this, buddy, keep going, oh, I believe in you. I got everybody telling me I'm stupid. I got everybody telling me, no, you can't. And that to me has just been my biggest let's go. And as crazy as it sounds, even though I'm making it sound focused, is it made me realize that, you know what? It's not that these people hate me. Some people can just be simply intimidated, or it's just they see what you could be. And I know a lot of you guys understand what I'm talking about, where you put yourself in a situation or you really put forth the effort, and next thing you know, you get these big opportunities or big things are happening and other people are just quiet. But then you got other people doing the same thing, and it's like, well, what about me? And it's not that you want the validation, but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, if I'm able to do this and everybody else is, what's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? But now that I got my little baby boy, he sees everything. Like, I get to bring him with me, and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing today. I get to bring my son along, and then he's over here getting excited because he's like, oh, dad's doing this, dad's doing that. And it's all funny because when I had my son, everybody's like, dude, you're not gonna be able to do this, you're never gonna do your music. And I'm like, dude, I went on tour and opened for Afro Man, filmed it, and brought my son with me. What do you mean? I'm living my dreams. I've gone out of state. My son was not even a year old, and I got to go to Texas and open up for that Mexican OT, right when he was at his prime. And I got my son in a car seat, and we broke down 4 times in Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, like right before we got to the house. Yeah. But it's like, those are the stories that I get to say, is like, everybody doubted me, but I still got to do these things. And no, I'm not big, I'm not famous, nobody knows my name like that. But the fact that I still believed in myself, and I had so many people doubt me, but I believed in myself and I trusted my higher power. And everybody in here knows what I'm talking about. So when you just take that dice, and it's called life, and you just roll that dice and you say 6. Well, no, you can't get a 5, you can't get a 7, no, like you can't get 12. No, it's like you gotta roll 2 6s, and you put everything on it. You put everything, your life, your savings, your relationships, all that, and everybody's looking at you like you're crazy, but you're like, no, I have to get 2 6s. Like, I can't get anything else. And you go all in on yourself. And I think that's a beautiful thing about creating and just taking a risk of life and just going all in on yourself.
I started this because I wanted to connect with other people and help other people, help the underdogs, you know, those are the ones that I resonate with, like, are the underdogs. But really, like, I also, like, needed this for myself. You know, like, they talk about the lows of being a creator, and I've been living in those lows for the majority of my career, you know. Haven't had a paycheck since I was in high school. Like, every dollar I've made, I had to go out and sell myself and earn myself. And this past year has been absolutely crazy. It started, like, on Christmas Day, I find out that my dad's blood work is showing that it's cancer-free. And so that was a big win to start the year. He'd been battling with stage 4 cancer since about 2021. And this guy I have a really close relationship with my dad. You know, we were born on the same day. So he calls me like his best birthday present. And so finding out that he had stage 4 colon cancer growing on multiple organs, a massive tumor, like the size of a baseball, like that he was not supposed to make it. And he had the surgery, went well, recovered, and you know how it goes with those things, you beat it, it comes back, you beat it, it comes back. And so it's like, gives you whiplash, especially like with someone, you know, that you really care about, like not knowing. It absolutely shifted my perspective. And so Christmas Day, we find out he's cancer-free. 3 months later, we find out the cancer is coming back and that the immunotherapy is no longer working, and now we have to go back. We're back in the woods, so to say, which is a crazy, crazy feeling, like of not knowing, like, do we got a week? Do we got a month? Do we have a year? Do we have 5 years? Completely shifted my perspective. And so now he's back in treatment. Things are looking good. Luckily, my dad is extremely healthy and like a jacked dude. Like anybody that knows my dad, he's a gym rat. He's an entrepreneur. But it's one of those things, like growing up, I guess I lived a very privileged life. Like I didn't have to really deal with many major traumas or like any people close to me, like any serious loss. And so this was one of those things that completely shifted the way that I create, the way that I look at my art, the way that I move in life. The reason why I'm doing this event right now, that if I didn't have the pressure of, you know, thinking about my mortality, making my dad proud, living and surviving, I would not be pushing as hard as I am to drop 7 albums, to do meetups, to do YouTube videos, we did, 16 podcasts in like 3 months, this past 3 months. And this year, like Kensington and I have been going just toe to toe, grinding our freaking faces into the floor. And just channeling this energy to remind myself that the clock is ticking. You don't have forever. And I do want to use the time that I do have to make an impact and to help somebody else and to help somebody that's struggling out there.
I'm Viddy, by the way. Hi, guys. First of all, I just want to thank you all for your honesty and your presence, because this has been really beautiful to just sit and observe. You know, after you sharing your story about your dad, I was gonna share previously when we were talking about spirituality, and about why we create. And for me, I feel like because I can, why would I not? And a lot of that feeling comes from, I grew up around a lot of terminally ill people. My dad was diagnosed with ALS, which is if y'all remember the Ice Bucket Challenge, that's what my dad had. And I grew up around people in the space of ALS and seeing people, ALS is a neurodegenerative disease, and it's basically a death sentence. Like, there's not even any real solid treatments for it. And I'm actually really, really grateful for that experience of being around these terminally ill people, because you know, I knew at a young age where I felt like there's really no other route, because you just never know. And you know, in addition to that, I find, and I maybe this will be helpful for some others, something I've been thinking about a lot and what I've really been incorporating into what I do. The core of what I do is essentially teaching people why understanding your emotions is a logical decision and why we need to do that. And so much of societal suffering has to do with our inability to process emotionally. And something I've been incorporating in my community a lot is also when I struggle to create for myself, when I'm second guessing the thing that I'm putting out. I also think a lot about ancestral liberation. And I look back at the stories of my ancestors and picturing them around me, and I've been able to read through some of their journals of my ancestors coming from Ireland and Samoa, and I think about those people, and I think about when you bring it back to emotions, you know, that one, a lot of them didn't get the opportunity to create freely because they were simply surviving. And the second part of it is that a lot of, particularly what I do, kind of falls in the realm of self-help and growth and all of that. And a lot of that, and even creation, can become very self-focused. But when you take it from a communal care perspective and the ancestral liberation perspective, it becomes very empowering. And it becomes very, you know, look at all these people that have brought me here, look at the perspective that has pushed me to do this, and how dare I not? And so that's a lot of what inspires me to create. And you know, I'm so grateful for the lows in my life, because they brought me to the highest points I could possibly imagine. So, and I see that in each of you, in your push to drive, and I know to create and your drive to do that. And I know that there's a lot of story behind that. Because, you know, to some degree we're all like sad and depressed or traumatized or something, so we have to create. So we do. So I appreciate all you sharing, and it was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.